Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the Houston Astros play the Seattle Mariners for Game 10 of the regular season. And it's going to be an interesting one starting off the series against the Mariners after yesterday's amazing 7-1 comeback. The Astros won, getting 8 straight runs to win the game 9-7, winning in extra innings. And that's been a kryptonite for this Astros team for years now, winning in extra innings. And in the first try of 2025, they get a dub in in extra innings. But yeah, let's go over what this lineup looks like today. I got a couple complaints I'm going to go over with this lineup. Let's go over what it looks like. All right. Altuve at second base, at leadoff. Love to see it. Altuve at second base. I'm going to go over why. We did see some rough plays in the last 2 games of this series for Altuve in left field. So he'll be back at second base for the second time this season. Now, that's not the main reason why I'm excited Altuve is in second base. At number 2, we see Isaac Paredes at the third base position, of course, at 2 spot. Yesterday had a 4-hit game for the Astros, going 4 for 6. And then here's why I'm excited that Jose Altuve is at second base. Yordan Alvarez in left field. And the reason I always talk about this, Yordan Alvarez the last couple games has started to heat up a little bit. That's great. Went, I think it was 1 for 4 on Saturday, and then yesterday went 2 for 4 with his first home run of the year. Had another RBI after that, had a sac fly to start off the game, then hit a 2-run home run, 2 for 4 day. Great game for Yordan, but I've talked about this as well. You want to get Yordan Alvarez really waking up the bat. I know we've seen it. We saw it in this series, but a way to do that is putting him in left field, because Yordan Alvarez, his numbers offensively are so much better when he is, at left field, playing defensively left field, than at the DH. Saw a video the other day talking about how Yordan Alvarez is a career, in his career, when in left field, is batting a little bit over 320, and his career when he's at DH is a little bit over 280. So, yeah, that Yordan, and also the one game Yordan Alvarez played in left field this season, he went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So that's what That's what I'm saying. All right, Christian Walker's at the 4 spot at first base. So I don't have any problems with the first 4 of this lineup. Here's where I have a problem. Jeremy Pena at the 5 spot at shortstop. I love JP. I really do. And I think you want him defensively shortstop, and that's his defense at shortstop is probably one of the only reasons why you're not seeing an off day here for JP. I talked about how it is dangerous having Jeremy Pena in the lineup going up against Logan Gilbert. Now you have, Logan Gilbert, who, has dominated Jeremy Pena. I hope that changes tonight. I really do. But Jeremy Pena in his career against Logan Gilbert is 1 for 23 and has struck out 5 times. So I hope that changes tonight. But I don't think that's something you want to see in the lineup where, you got Jeremy Pena, who's had career struggles against Logan Gilbert, go ahead and be in the lineup today. And I also talked about how I'd love to see Brendan Rodgers boost, move up in the lineup, move up to the 5 spot where he'd have more RBI opportunities, because in the Minnesota series, went 3 for 4 on Thursday, went 1 for 3 with a double on Saturday, and yesterday went 2 for 3 with a double. So I would have loved to see Brendan Rodgers at the 5 spot for this Astros team to give them more RBI opportunities, with Yainer Diaz struggling and Jeremy Pena having career struggles against Logan Gilbert. But we're not even seeing Brendan Rodgers in the lineup today with, the Astros having Jose Altuve at second base. Victor Caratini will be at catcher at the 6th spot. I really don't have any complaints there. Victor Caratini's been amazing for the Astros this year. He's switch hitter, so he can try to attack Logan Gilbert both ways, so that's great. And then Yainer Diaz is at the lowest he's been all season. He's at DH today. First time this year he's at DH. First time you're seeing Yainer Diaz and Caratini in the lineup together this year, and he's at the 7th spot. We saw him move from 5 to 6. Now you see him move from 6 to 7. Yeah, it's really bad for Yainer Diaz right now. Hopefully he gets it going, though. Jake Myers is at center field playing at the 8th spot. He's been great the last 2 games. Mauricio Dubon's at the number 9 spot in right field. No problems with Jake or Dubon being in this lineup. Dubon and Jake Myers have put up good numbers against Gilbert. Myers is 4 for 14 against Gilbert, and then also, Dubon is 3 for 10 in his career against Gilbert. I would have, loved to see potentially either Chas McCormick or Brennan Rodgers in this lineup over Jeremy Pena. And the only reason I say that is just because with Pena's struggles against Gilbert in his career. And then, you've seen what he's done against, what Gilbert has accomplished over JP. Meanwhile, Chas has some good numbers against Gilbert in his career. And, Brennan Rodgers has been red hot for this Astros team right now. But, it is what it is. When Altuve's at second base, it's kind of hard to put Brendan Rodgers in this lineup. It really is. And so that's tough, especially when he's been as hot as he's been at the plate right now. And, maybe the Astros should have considered having Brendan Rodgers at the DH today instead of Yanner Diaz with, how bad he's been. You really, with how good he's been offensively recently, Brendan Rodgers, it's hard to take him out of the lineup, but that is what the Astros are doing today. And Hayden Wiesenski is going to be on the mound today going up against Logan Gilbert. Here's the one thing I'm going to say. I don't know how things go for the Astros in this game today. Honestly, I don't like the Astros odds because this is another Hayden Wiesenski start where he is the Astros number 5 pitcher in the rotation, and he's going up against a number 1. His first start last weekend for the Astros, he was going up against Logan Webb, and that's the Giants opening day guy. That's their number 1 starter. Here we are today. Again, he's the number 5 pitcher in the rotation. Out of all the pitchers in the rotation, he's got some solid numbers. He's got better numbers than Ronel Blanco, I'll tell you that. So he might not be, but he is the number 5 pitcher in this rotation, and he's going up against the number 1 again. So it's tough for Hayden Wiesenski in his first 2 starts for the Astros going up against number 1 guys and 2 really good, ace pitchers in Logan Gilbert and Logan Webb, 2 Logans as well. I didn't even think about that. So that sucks for Hayden, but so I think that I'd love to see Houston sports go 2-0 tonight. I'd love to see a championship in Houston with a national championship for the Cougs, and then a series starting dub for the Astros. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say with the Astros facing Gilbert and the Astros having their number 5 pitcher in the rotation, that the Astros take a loss tonight, and then the Cougs get a dub and win the national championship. But here's the one thing I'm gonna say when I predict the Astros to lose this game 1. I'm also going to predict that the Astros start off this series with a loss and then win the next 2 to win the series. But here's the thing. If the Astros do win tonight, and I'm wrong, which I hope I am wrong, they'll be 5-5. And here's the crazy thing. You guys think the Astros are struggling this year, which they definitely have had struggles this year. But do you guys think the Astros are struggling this year? If they win this game tonight and they go to 5-5, this team will reach their 5th win 10 games into the season. That's not 5-5. It's mid. It's mid. It's 500. But what did the Astros team last year? How many games did it take them to get their 5th win? It took them 16 games last year. So, this is my favorite thing to say. Whenever you think it's bad this year, think about how bad it was last year. Start off 7-19. Here's another crazy thing. If the Astros potentially sweep I almost said the Seahawks, the Mariners in this series, and you take down the Mariners in a sweep, I think is unlikely. I think you very well can get 2 of 3. But if they sweep the Mariners in this series, and that takes them to 7-6, that means they will have 7 wins through the first 13 games of the season, when last year it took them 26 games to get to 7 wins. So whenever you're going to talk about how bad this team is struggling, think about how bad it was last year before you go off on this year's team. Because tonight they can get their 5th win of the season and get that 10 games in when it took them 16 last year. And if they get a sweep and get to 7-6 after this, if they get a sweep, that takes them to 7-5. That would mean they would have 7 wins, 12 games into the year when it took them 26 last year. So, yeah. Always think about how bad it was last year before you think about how bad it is this year. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros facing off the Mariners. And keep in mind, even though the Astros start off terrible, 7-19, they still got, 90 wins or 89 wins and still made it to the playoffs or the wild card. So that's pretty impressive. And this Astros team has got off to a better start than they did last year. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros starting off this season 4-5 and facing the Mariners in this series. We'll see how things go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out. Go Astros.